Hi, welcome to our webinar, Splash and BlueJeans Events, Recharge Your Streaming Strategy to Turn Leads into Customers. My name is Maggie Bliss, and I am the moderator. So today we are joined by Justin McKeffey, our Product Marketing Manager, and Zach Napolitano, Director of Customer Education at Splash. So before we kick things off, there's a few housekeeping items. This is BlueJeans Events. You are in a one-way viewing experience. On the right-hand side of your screen, you can see the navigation bar. There's a moderator chat feature and a Q&A if you have any questions today. Lastly, this is recording and you can find this on our website. So with that, I'll turn it over to Justin.
Hey, thank you so much, Maggie, and thank you to everybody that's watching this today. My name is Justin McKeffey, as mentioned, and I'm just going to quickly walk you through the agenda and what you can expect to see on today's presentation between Zach and I. So first, we're going to give you some product introductions, learn a little bit more about Splash and a little bit more about BlueJeans Events. And then we're going to address some of these current event brand marketing challenges in this marketplace when it comes to these field events when you host large groups of people for your company. So we'll kind of spell out some of the customer pain points going on in that marketplace right now. And then we'll get into some of the more technical aspects about Splash, the feature sets, and the product overview. We'll do the exact same thing for BlueJeans Events to give you some context about our two products. And then finally, we're going to explain to you how we make these two solutions work together. We're going to explain the integration from the event management side and the live streaming side and how you can connect these two products to really make your life a lot easier and generate a lot more interest in some of these field events. And so without further delay, I'll send it right over to you, Zach.
Thanks for the intro, Justin. So happy to be here. What is Splash? We're an event marketing platform that aims to make it unbelievably easy for anyone to host beautiful, compliant, on-brand events. This covers an event's full digital presence, online registration, email promotion, on-site check-in, and integrations with your CRM and marketing automation tools.
Fantastic. And a quick at a glance about BlueJeans Events. This is a live video streaming solution. So think of BlueJeans Events as a virtual venue for large-scale engagement marketing, experiential content, and brand activation. We like to think of this product as a pipeline driver with in-event nurture and lead qualification tools. So more on that in just a little while, but just a quick little bullet point about that and an explanation about that, since a lot of times these field marketing events are your first opportunity to really create a human-to-human connection. Some of these engagement tools and interactivity features in BlueJeans Events allows you to really start that relationship with some of the folks that are attending your event. More on that in just a moment. And then we also like to think about this solution as a modernized alternative to worn-out webinars. It was designed to have interactivity in mind, and I'll go through some of that in just a moment. As mentioned, here are some of the event brand marketing challenges when it comes to barriers to entry and user friction in the field events market space. Number one, industry disruption. Some on-site connections and face-to-face impressions are simply not possible. And we can chalk this up to COVID-related cancellations and those types of things. But sometimes in a non-COVID world, venue cancellations, they come up, or the venue is unavailable and you need to come up and reshift and rethink your field marketing strategy. And so I think, fairly obvious move is to move online. And so we'll go into more detail about that in a moment. Zach.
Yeah, in terms of marketing continuity, an event is arguably the highest stake representation of your brand. So this isn't just a great opportunity to engage and excite your customers, but there's also a real downside in presenting an experience that's off-brand, disjointed, or even pedestrian. Justin?
You bet. So attendee experience, if you're taking this event that was supposed to happen in person and you're shifting it to an online environment, that alternative needs to be just as memorable, just as influential, and just as immersive to make an impact on the folks in your audience.
Yeah, in terms of workstream management, this one's a delicate balance, right? A difficult event creation solution requires a ton of admin management, which makes scaling an event program either really expensive or next to impossible. But an overly open solution leads to engagement being off-brand, inconsistent, and not properly integrated. So the tool has to be both easy and empowering while allowing program leaders to automate workflows and best practices. And then in terms of follow-up strategy, We know there isn't a hotter lead or a more engaged customer than someone that took the time, burned the calories to attend your live event or virtual one. But if attendance records are going into the ether, now you're relying on good vibes alone and not sound marketing practices to close your deals. All right, yeah, let me talk a little bit about Splash. Our three main pillars are design, data, and scale. So design is the pillar we were founded on, and it's probably what we're best known for. We give event marketers the ability to fully brand and customize every event touchpoint, from event pages to its mobile experience to the registration form, emails, confirmation, social thumbnail, and now its live stream destination. In terms of data, I like to think about this in two ways. Attendee interactions yield a ton of data. Splash makes it easy to track and analyze all of it so you can measure impact and make better decisions. These insights are also pushed back to your CRM or marketing tech platforms through integrations with Salesforce, Marketo, HubSpot, Eloqua, Pardot, to name our most popular ones. And then finally, scale. Our primary customer is the marketer who understands that events of all sizes can be the most significant drivers of pipeline and customer engagement. So scale means the democratization of events across all members of your organization, equipping those folks with easy tools to host on-brand, on-message, integrated, and compliant events.
Fantastic. Now you know a little bit more about how you can promote and customize and market your event while generating really valuable attendee insights. I'll explain to you how you can host your virtual events with BlueJeans Events. And so I'll jump into these different pillars that we like to offer. First and foremost, virtualize your venue. Extend the reach of your web event to anyone, anywhere. Like we talked about a couple of minutes ago about those field marketing challenges for on-site events, you can shift all of that experience to an online environment and create this fantastic interactive experience where attendees are consuming your content, learning more about your product or services, and really experiencing the best alternative to an on-site event. And so when we talk about virtualize your venue, it means offer the opportunity for attendees to join through any operating system. Now that could be a mobile device like an Android or an iOS, or they can join on Mac or Windows or Linux operating systems as well. Also, join on any browser. Make it easy for them to get into your event simply by joining an easily shared URL link and then watching the content within the browser of their choice. Any endpoint. If you choose to invite other business leaders or other companies to join your event and they're watching the program from within a conference room, we offer endpoint interoperability. And so if those conference rooms are enabled with Cisco or Lifesize or Polycom or Yealink, any of the above, we interoperate with those different solutions. And then finally, any setting. Dolby Voice is integrated with BlueJeans Events. And so that means if there's any background noise or distracting sounds while a presenter is speaking, this intelligent audio solution immediately suppresses that so that the attendees that are sitting in your virtual theater, so to speak, they can't hear any of that and they can only hear the content that they came to watch and attend. Elevate your experiences. So manage every angle of your event through a centralized dashboard. And what we mean by this is if it's your job as an event organizer or an event manager to completely monitor everything that's going on inside of your event, from the audio signal to the camera settings to the content that's being shared to the Q&A that's coming in from the audience, you get a special centralized dashboard with a 360-degree view and an extra level of control over everything that's happening inside of your event. If you take that and you compare it to the presenter interface and the attendee interface, that is very much content and speaker driven, meaning the UI is incredibly easy to navigate. All of that is just presented to whoever is watching or speaking on the presentation, while the security and that overview is kind of designed just for moderators so that they can focus on all of the logistics that are happening inside of your virtual event. And then finally, strengthen community. So if the purpose of some of these large-scale field events and virtual events are to create more interest in your product and strengthen the community, well, it's important to stimulate product interest with interactive video and collective participation. So a quick look at what we are capable of with BlueJeans Events. You can host up to 150 different interactive video participants that can speak on your call at any given time, and they can reach up to 50,000 attendees. But the reason that BlueJeans Events is different than some of these older or outmoded webinar tools is that if somebody in the audience has a question and they'd like to appear on camera, they raise their hand, they can get promoted to the presenter seat by the moderator, and then suddenly they're on camera and interacting in that video environment. And then on the right side, real-time engagement, including polling questions, Q&A, and chat features. And so, as I mentioned a little while ago, when it comes to nurturing leads and building that relationship really early on with the business relationship or the product relationship, you get to figure out how interested are these folks by sending out polling questions and evaluating the questions that are coming in. Are these buying questions? Are these urgent questions? And kind of write your follow-up strategy based on who asked what and what specific things were brought up. Okay, and then that leads us into this integration with Splash. So you've learned a little bit about the live streaming experience on the left-hand side and the different components of BlueJeans Events. But on the right-hand side, this is the customization and the marketing aspect from Splash. And so if we've got it very dialed in on the BlueJeans side to host these great interactive live streaming events, Splash certainly has it dialed in to create these truly customizable event marketing experiences. So we like to think of it as best-in-class video streaming meets world-class event marketing. And with that, Zach, please explain to folks how these two solutions work together.
Sure thing, Justin. That's a really nice summary. And in both scenarios, it's allowing both platforms to do what they do best. Beautiful event marketing and world-class online experiences with BlueJeans. Situation number one is the automated native integration. What this allows you to do is leverage all of BlueJeans' interactive tools that Justin just spoke about, the chatting, the polling, the immersive experience. The only difference is you're configuring and creating the event in Splash. So while the event is marketed in Splash, all attendee interaction takes place in BlueJeans. And as attendees join that webinar, that data is automatically syncing back into Splash and therefore back into your CRM and marketing automation tools. The second option is an embedded live stream through Splash's virtual event page touchpoint. In this scenario, you may be less concerned about using BlueJeans' interactive tools and just want to leverage their streaming. So this will allow you to embed that streaming experience within a fully white labeled, branded, gated destination in Splash. Each guest is still automatically checked in, allowing you to capture the data, but it just allows a slightly different experience in terms of how somebody is viewing. A little less interaction, a little bit more white labeling.
Excellent. And my biggest takeaway from our two integrations together and how they work together is that for the end user, now that could be the attendee or that could be the event organizer, is you're literally maximizing the value and you're multiplying the efficiency of these two platforms when you add them together. You're creating a completely end-to-end and customized marketing experience, and then you're bringing in that great video content so that when folks attend, they're getting everything that you want them to see and have the opportunity to chime in, ask questions, and be a part of a virtual alternative to an on-site event. And so with that, we would love to encourage you to ask some questions. We went through quite a lot there, but please ask away, chime in with anything about live streaming or event marketing, customization, and HTML embed. That is that second integration option that Zach mentioned a moment ago, use cases, and also RSVPs for these different events. And so with that, Maggie, I'll throw it over to you for the Q&A.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Zach. That was an awesome presentation. You guys really dive deep. So we have some questions that have come in. So Zach, this one's for you. What's the estimated time required to set up the Splash integration with BlueJeans? And does it require a level of technical expertise?
Awesome question. It's a fun one for me to answer because this one requires no level of technical expertise, unlike some of your heavier CRM or marketing tech integrations, things that would normally be configured by an admin. This can be configured by just about anybody. And honestly, from setup to configuration to testing, you can knock this one out in under 15 minutes.
That's incredible. As someone who does webinar, the easier and the more simple and fast, it's the better. And then we have another one for you, Zach. We're a large distributed team hosting hundreds of virtual events a year. Does the integration work at this scale?
Yeah, I think the scale aspect of this is what allows you to derive the most value. When you set up the integration in Splash, you do this on what's called the organization level. This means that every time somebody on your Splash team creates a virtual event or a webinar, that automatically activates the integration, which means everything is just happening automatically behind the scenes, no setup required. So not only is it easy to set up, but it's a one-time setup that continues to create value every time your team is using it.
That's fantastic. And then Justin, we have a question for you. We haven't purchased Splash yet. Is there a way to host a virtual event with Splash and BlueJeans using the freemium product?
Okay, so I'll speak to at least the events portion of this one, and Zach, you can take it away for Splash, but we encourage you to sign up for an events trial and use the product and service, understand how it works together, and we can enable you to set up this integration. And with that, I'll pass it over to Zach, explain a little bit how your trial process works.
Yeah, so we do have a freemium product. Freemium product doesn't come with the integrations that we spoke about earlier, but that wouldn't stop a BlueJeans user from trying Splash out for their virtual event. So maybe instead of doing the integration that has, the full data upside, you just want to do a toe dip, and you would use our product and promote your BlueJeans webinar URL or webinar ID in your confirmation message. So this would still allow you to use Splash to market your event, and it would just mean it's a slightly more manual way of collecting your check-ins, but not so big of a lift that it would prevent somebody from doing it.
Fantastic. And then someone asked, we use Salesforce as our CRM. Is there a way to sync BlueJeans registration and attendance data back to Salesforce?
On the BlueJeans side, absolutely. This is one of our integrations features. And so the great part about that when you integrate with Salesforce is that all of that is automated. You don't need to clean lists. You don't need to download lists, clean the list, and then re-upload it into a campaign in Salesforce and things like that. So if you're collecting registration and attendee data, that works with our solution. And so it definitely streamlines that process.
Perfect. And then, Zach, how would someone check guests into an embedded live video on Splash?
Yeah, this is the beautiful thing is you don't have to, because with the embedded solution that we've been discussing, guests are actually prompted to check themselves in using a single click before joining the stream. So when a guest registers for a live stream event, they're sent an email confirmation with a unique streaming URL. And this is what allows us to recognize them and check themselves in. Even better from a data integrity perspective, if that guest attempted to share that URL with somebody else, we're able to recognize that on the Splash side and make sure that new guest registers themselves and gets their own registration link.
And then, Justin, how many BlueJeans events come with a license?
Sure, that is completely up to the needs of the customer. It just depends on what you need at the time, but we do sell one-off events. Either you can have a managed experience where you're actually tapping into our event assist team and they'll hold your hand, so to speak, the entire event experience from the pre, the during, and the post event. Or you can simply purchase a one-off and host a webinar or a large-scale web event that way too. And then we also have an unlimited licensing model. And so if you're hosting lots of events per month, a couple a week, several dozen a month, that's fine too. We also offer that packaging. And so please inquire, but can certainly handle either case.
Perfect. Well, I think that was all our questions today. Thank you, Zach, for joining us. Thank you, Justin, for hosting as always. And if you guys have any questions, please follow up. Please reach out to us. Contact us via the BlueJeans website. Thank you.